Let us now go to that next topic, that is motion of a charged particle in a uniform magnetic field. Okay, so I've drawn a magnetic field like this way. So what does it mean? Okay, so I've drawn X like this way. So now we'll take a magnetic field means the vector quantity. Okay, so vector is represented by an arrow mark. Okay, so I have drawn, made a vector like this way. So you can see a vector has a head and a tail. Okay, so imagine this is a magnetic field. Okay, so this point means, okay, we learned in last class itself, if it points like this way means we put a dot only. Okay, but if you turn like this way and the magnetic field goes into the board, then we can see it's like X. Okay, so you can see the magnetic field is going into the board. Okay, so this you must know. So this is a magnetic field, it goes into the board, so we write as magnetic field B vector is going into the board, B in. Okay, next what we do, we take a, say, a positive charge. Okay, so let's take a positive charge here, that's plus Q. Okay, this charge is perpendicular to the, it goes perpendicular to the this one magnetic field. Okay, so you can see there's this charge. Okay, it goes in this way. Okay, it has a velocity v here. Okay, it's perpendicular to the magnetic field. Now what happens is we use a thing that is Lorentz force. Okay, and you can see that if you do like this way, this thing here, the force will be acting inwards. Okay, always a force, you can see it will be acting inwards. So let me take another card here. Okay. So the magnetic Lorentz force will be acting inwards here. Okay, then what happens is, due to this force, it will actually curve there. Okay, the magnetic field will make the charged particle to curve. Okay, so when it comes here, what happens? At this point also force will be acting towards center. So it's like a centripetal force, and always a particle will go on a circular path. Okay, this way. So the particle will make a circle here. Okay, so with this it will have a radius here, that radius will say the radius is small r. Okay, so now let's see what's the Lorentz force here. In this case, the Lorentz force. So the Lorentz force we learned, F is equal to Q into V vector cross B vector. This is the formula for the Lorentz force. Okay, now what we do, we expand this. Okay, so what we have is F is equal to Q V B sine theta. So what I done is I have used the formula A vector cross B vector is equal to AB sine theta. Okay, now what's the angle between the velocity and the magnetic field? You can see that they are perpendicular. Okay, see, magnetic field goes into that and velocity is like this way, so they are perpendicular at right angles. Okay, so this one and this one are right angles here. Okay, that is 90 degrees. So theta is equal to 90 degrees here. So what happens, we'll study now. Okay, if theta is in 90 degrees, what will happen? Okay, so we have F is equal to QVB and then sine 90. What's the value of sine 90? Sine 90 value is 1. So this term becomes, the force is equal to QVB. Okay, this will be the total force also, you can say. Okay, or you can, this is as vectors now, we got, this is a magnitude now. Okay, so this is the magnitude of the net force. We'll write one more way, magnitude, that means the amount, okay, of the net force. Magnitude of net force, that we write as summation of all these forces here. Okay, we can take this force, this force, this force. We add all the forces here. Okay, and sum it, we get the total force, total magnetic force, that will be equal to QVB. The same one I written here down. Okay, this one thing you know. Now you see that the particle is going in a circular path. Okay, so for a particle to go in a circular path, some force must act towards center now. With that force we say centripetal force. Okay, so in this case, the Lorentz force is a centripetal force. Okay, so write this, the Lorentz force is the centripetal force. Centripetal means what? The force towards the center. Okay, so Lorentz force formula we got now, that is QVB. Okay, what is the formula for centripetal force? That is mv square by r. Okay, so now what we must do, we must get this radius here. Okay, what will be the radius of this path here? Okay, that you must find. So what we cross multiply and interchange here. So r is equal to mv square divided by QVB. So now what happens? V and the square will cancel. Okay, so we are left with r is equal to mv by qb. Okay, now what I do is I'll just erase some portions here. Now let us write this as equation 1 also. Okay, and we can also write in another way this one, R is equal to P divided by QB. Okay, here P means the momentum, P is equal to mv. Okay, that's another way of writing it. Okay. Let me erase it out now. Now let us see what will be the time it takes to travel one rotation. See, it goes this way. Okay, what time it takes to travel. See, now it travels in a circular path. We must find the speed first. Okay, so let's see what is the formula for speed. Speed is equal to distance by time. Speed is distance by time here. Speed symbol, that is v. Now the distance it travels here. Okay, that is the circumference of circle now. It travels circular path. So the circumference will be 2 pi r by time, where it is capital T. Okay, our aim is to find the time only. So cross multiplying interchange. So we get here, this way I'll write here. Time is equal to 2 pi r by small v. Okay, so now we got the value of r now. Okay, substitute the value of r in this equation here. Substitute the value of small r. Okay, so substitute this value. So let's see what we get. So t is equal to 2 pi into, instead of r we have here mv by qb. Okay, and this side we have down, we have v. Okay, so it's correct one now. Okay, yes. So cross multiply, cancel these things. Okay, so what we get is time period is equal to 2 pi m divided by qb. It's very simple and goes step by step. Okay, next I'll erase this portion here. Okay, so this is the time it takes to travel. Okay, now we must find the frequency. Okay, that means how many times will rotate in 1 second. Okay, so let's see the frequency. The frequency formula is f is equal to 1 by t. That means you take reciprocal. Okay, so if you take reciprocal, what happens? QB will come up and 2 pi m will come down. So QB goes up divided by 2 pi m, small m. Okay, so this way we get the frequency. Okay, next we must see what is the angular frequency also. Okay, let me write here. So let's see the angular frequency. Okay, angular frequency omega is equal to 2 pi f. Okay, so that means you must take this equation, multiply by 2 pi. So let's see this 2 pi into this f equation is qb by 2 pi m. Okay, so 2 pi cancels. So your omega is equal to q by m into b. Okay, so this is one thing we note. So we got the time period we got now. Okay, we also got the frequency. Okay, we got the angular frequency also. Okay, 3 things we got. Okay, now you must know that the time period and the frequency, they do not depend on the velocity. Okay, let me write down. So time period and frequency do not depend on the velocity. Not depend on velocity or radius of the particle. Velocity or the radius. Okay, you can see this in the equation. Okay, there's no velocity coming here and there's no velocity coming here. Radius also is not there. Okay, so the time it takes, whether it may be a big circle or small circle, the time will be same only. Okay, and then but what does it depend on? It depends only on the charge to mass. Okay, q by m now. Okay, it depends only on the q by m. I'll write that side. So you can see now I've written here the time period depends only on the charge to mass ratio. Okay, that means q by m. Okay, so you divide the charge by mass, that will give us the factor which the time period depends on. You can see here also q by m is there, q and m is there, here's q and m is there. Okay, velocity is not there, radius is not there. Okay, this is a very, very important application. Okay, very important point to note. Okay, does not depend on the velocity or radius, it depends only on the charge to mass. Okay, that will be seen in the next applications there. Now let me erase these portions here. So far we've seen this picture only. Okay, where the velocity was perpendicular to the magnetic field. Now let's go to the next one. If the particle moves in a uniform magnetic field and when the velocity is not perpendicular to b means what? The magnetic field. Then velocity v has two components, v parallel and v perpendicular. Okay, so what does it mean? So this is a uniform magnetic field we know, and this is a electron. Okay, electron has negative charge. Okay, written as minus q. Okay, so now when it goes this way, you can see the angle is not 90 degrees. Okay, so in this case the velocity will have two components here. One component we say it as v parallel. Okay, we resolve the velocity into two components, v parallel, that's parallel to what? Parallel to the magnetic field. And then you also have v perpendicular, that means the velocity is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay, the component of velocity. So we resolve velocity in two components, parallel component and this vertical component here. Now the parallel component doesn't change there. Okay, it will not change. Only the vertical component will change. Okay, so it will. What happens when the velocity changes? The path will change here. It will curve, and then you can see it will form a helix like this way. In a spiral, like a spring, it will form. Okay, and the motion of the particle, the electron, will be in this direction here. Okay, so this is the helical motion of the electron. Okay, helical motion of the electron. Okay. So this we can see by using a specialized apparatus called as a cloud chamber. Okay, so this is actually an old device only. Okay, so by using a cloud chamber, we can see how the electron moves. Okay, or how this helix comes in a cloud chamber. Okay, so that we'll see in the coming videos. Thank you for watching.